Hello, in this video I'm going to be explaining the overview window. You can access it from the toolbar icon here, or you can come to View, Overview Window, and a third option will be the Ctrl-Shift-O shortcut. Before explaining this screen here, I would like to open as well the Gantt chart. So when you open the overview window, let me open it from scratch, you see that both of those screens, they offer exactly the same information, right? Both of them are displaying by default the Gantt chart. And also they have exactly the same functionality. So if I right click here, you have those options. And if I right click in here, I have also those same options. And the reason for that is the Gantt chart in the overview window is the screen that it opens by default. The only difference between the overview window and the Gantt chart is this top left arrow over here. So when you click on it, it allows you to do two different stuff. One is changing the screen. So right now it's the Gantt chart, but you could change it to utilization, for example, or also to plots. And another feature that you have is the add pane, right? And when you click on it, you are essentially adding a new screen to the overview window. And this is the reason an overview window exists. So after you add a new pane, so let me add another one over here. You see that you have the same arrow on all of those three panes over here. So now you essentially can change and have three different screens on the same window. This is useful because now zooming in or out on any of those screens are actually zooming in or out on all of those three. So let me add here the gauge line so you can see that the gauge lines there. Let me close the utilization. You see that the gauge lines, they are always aligned, no matter the horizontal scrolling that you do in here. So you are sure that 16th of October 2022, it's at this position on both screens. So let me do a forward sequence here. And this is really useful because now you are sure that this position in the plot window is exactly this position in the Gantt chart. So if I drag and drop here to filter, you see that what's being filtered exactly as you drag and drop there. Okay? There are no limits to how many panes you can add, but be careful because the more you add, the more resource intensive Opcenter will become. So be careful with that, okay? All right, so essentially this is the main functionalities of an overview window. But now I would like to take the opportunity to also explain Gantt chart functionalities using this overview video, okay? So the main functionality that the Gantt chart provides you, it is, of course, this right-click menu on the resource. You have print and schedule operations, lock all operations, unlock all operations, edit calendar, and cascade operations. Print here allows you, of course, to print this Gantt chart, but I'm not going to explain this because I plan to create a dedicated video explaining the printing functionality. Another option here is the cascade operations. These here essentially make this resource, operations on this resource to be one line for each operation to behave and to look like project applications such as Microsoft Project or Primavera P6. Other than that, there is no active functionality other than visually. So let me right click again and come back to stack operations. Edit calendar, it's a quick way to add calendar exceptions. So for example, if you want to add a maintenance, a breakdown, or any other calendar exceptions, you can come here and edit calendar. So for example, let's add a quick breakdown here. So it lasts um, 2 days, right? And I'm gonna apply that to 3 different resources. So if I do this, you see that I were able to quickly add a calendar exception. So this is, most people are not aware of this functionality. So most people just come here to view, calendar, primary resource, open a calendar and add a new exception from here. But of course, it's much quicker doing from this screen here. Let me undo. Okay, so the unschedule, lock, and unlock, in my point of view, it gives the planner great flexibility on replanning and using the functionalities of Opcenter APS to create a schedule that are the best as it can be. So for example, let's say that I want to repair only the spiraling resource for whatever reason, okay? So you can pretty much lock highlighted operations, right? Because everything is highlighted now, that means that all operations got locked. Then you can come here, right click, unlock all operations. Now, every operation is scheduled in this resource got unlocked. And if you now, for example, do stuff such as drag and drop here, and then you can come and ask for a repair only on this, and only this resource will be repaired because everything else got locked. And of course you can unschedule all of those operations as well. So here be careful because this resource is unlocked, is all operations on this resource are locked. That means unscheduling here will not work, the same as unscheduling from here will not work. But if you right click, unlock here, now unscheduling will work. So let me unlock everything, unschedule, let me regenerate the schedule. So another good way to use this is, for example, I had run a forward schedule here, right? So if I want to, for example, for the profiling resource to do a backward schedule, I can do so by right-clicking here, unscheduling, coming here, backward by due date, and a backward schedule will be generated, reducing work in progress. Always be careful with backward because if you don't have enough lead time, such as in this case here, it will unschedule, it will leave operations unscheduled. So you see that I have 5 operations here that are unscheduled because it didn't find capacity between the due date of that order and the current date and time, which is set by the terminator time here. Of course, if you drag and drop the terminator time to be at a different position, you can just run the backwards and then you repair to adjust the sequence. So something like that, right? Okay, good. So the user needs to be creative how he wants to use those buttons over here, okay? But they are available and I advise playing with them as much as you can to learn how they work. So another good functionality is regarding the supply line and the demand line. So for each milestone, for example, this milestone over here, which is for PO69, if you leave your mouse on it, you see that you got a tip display for this supply order. But if you have multiple orders arriving at the same date, this example here, you have 6 records, right? So if you left click, nothing happens. But if you right click, you have information regarding those orders here. So this example is, it's only 6, so you can see all of them here. When you leave your mouse, you got those options, right? But you also have a more option here. So let me look at this here, which contains 45 records. If you right click, you don't see all of those 45. So if you click on more, it's going to open this little form that allows you to filter quickly to find your purchase order. But right now, it is looking only at those 45 supply orders, which are the ones in here. So if you want to, you can increase this horizon here to include more. So for example, I want to include a whole year. So now instead of 45, I have 402. That means if I do a search here, for example, PO0045, you can find that PO pretty quickly using this method, okay? And then you right click, you have editor, edit record, highlight all related, highlight subsequent operation, and highlight all subsequent operations. Of course, there is an open in Material Explorer as well, but I'm gonna be creating a dedicated video to explain the Material Explorer, all right? So, for example, let me look at, yeah, that one probably is good. So this particular order over here, if I right click on it and select, of course, let's do first the edit record. It allows you to change any information regarding this particular purchase order, right? So you can change the quantity, you can change the arrival date, the part number, any attributes, and whatever. So this is a great way to simulate a change. So if your supplier calls you for and asking for a delay of a purchase order, you can simulate that delay in here. So to do that, you right click, come to more, you increase this horizon here, let's put a huge date, you look for the PO 56, for example, you right click, come to edit record, and then let's say that it's asking for a one month delay, you do that, click OK, and you are done. So right clicking here, you also have the highlight all related. I don't like that very much because it gets very confusing. It doesn't give you very good information. But the highlight all subsequent operations, yeah, this has only a couple of orders, so let me find a better one. Anyway, okay, so in this one here, you have 3 operations that are directly consuming material being supplied by this PO over here, right? So if I open this PO in Material Explorer, you're going to see here exactly those 3 orders consuming this quantity produced by this PO, okay? And the difference between the highlight subsequent operations and highlight all subsequent operations is because all subsequent operation will include all operations. So this is useful because now you know that this particular PO is impacting a production order at this date in here. So any delay between here and here, it's not going to generate any meaningful impact, a negative impact in your schedule. So let's say that your supplier calls and asks you for a 1 month delay. So you come here and now you see that you're still delivering on time. Okay, this is available in the supply line, but you have the same options here on the demand line. The difference is instead of highlighting the subsequent and all subsequent operation, you have the previous and all previous operation, right? So for example, here I'm highlighting a previous operation. So you see that only this operation is supplying to this. Let me see if there is a better one. No, only one as well. Anyway, but if I highlight all previous operations, then you're going to see the full production flow for this particular custom order. Okay, there are a couple of options in the view here that I would like to talk about. One is the show outline here in the highlight options. If you see that it's currently flagged, that means you can see unhighlighted operations in this thin gray color. But if you unflag it, now you are seeing only highlighted operations. Okay, so if I cancel highlights, everything comes back as normal. Another functionality here is the compressed Gantt chart. So if you click on it, any resource that doesn't have any schedule operations will get compressed, will be hidden. So take a look at this external. It went away. So for example, I'm gonna now schedule all operations of the extrusion 1. So you see that the extrusion 1 also went away. And this works for operations that are highlighted. So for example, if I highlight this entire order here, you see that only resources that have operation highlighted schedule will be displayed over here. Okay? Let me remove the compress. Let me undo to come back with the extrusion schedule. And one last option that I want to talk about is the Gantt chart groups. If you click on it, sorry, click on the wrong button, Gantt chart groups over here. So you can create resource groups, and those resource groups can be used for filtering resources over here. So for example, factory here contain only factory resources. So you only see factory resources here, no matter what is highlighted. So let me come back with the outline. So no matter what's highlighted, it's a different filtering of resources like this. So if I select now assembly testing, you see different resources as well. Okay? And that's it for this video. Thank you.